Hi everyone, my name is Rianna. All right. This time of year, with its many celebrations and colorful caps and gowns, always brings me back to my own college graduation. Amidst all the pomp and circumstance, I was, surprise, surprise, deeply miserable. Like many, I graduated without a plan for what was next, meaning I was often without an answer to the question, what do you want to do for work? A question that to me always sounded like a larger one. What do you want to do with your life? When asked that question, I knew I wanted to protect myself, to stay quiet. I belittled what I was going through at the time, joking about the low stakes. What did I really think would happen if I was revealed as the kind of person who wanted a cool job and, God forbid, didn't get it? I made my insecurity about one kind of rejection, instead about my reality, that there was something I wanted desperately and was afraid to share, not knowing if I could achieve it. Since my junior year in college, I've known that I wanted to pursue a PhD in African American history. The fall of that academic year, my campus broke out in protest, animated by the pain of students of color. The protest started after a Black student was turned away from a fraternity party after being told only white girls were welcome. Fuel was added to the fire when an administrator sent a racially insensitive email about Halloween costumes to students. Students of color throughout the campus came together to speak what had before gone largely unspoken, that the student culture was dominated by whiteness and the structures of the university supported it. This breaking point compelled me to speak aloud for the first time about my own experiences. Growing up in a predominantly white town within an interracial family that failed to speak openly about race, my racial identity had long been a point of pain. I came to college curious about my heritage, about the experiences I had in life that felt so different from many of my peers. I had so many worries, the classic, am I Black enough to claim the label, that encapsulated more personal, pressing ones. What did it mean about me that so many of my close friends were white? What did it mean that my relationship with my Black side of the family was strained? If the opportunity presented itself, would I be accepted by a larger Black community? Were there other people out there who felt the way that I did? I explored these questions in African American Studies courses, guided by professors, most often Black women themselves, who gave me language to understand myself and my family, learning about what it means to be a mixed-race Black woman. When campus erupted in protest, I felt prepared to speak up, knowledgeable about the history of Black students at my university, institutional racism, and with my professors by my side. From that moment, I knew I wanted to go into academia, hoping the vocation would grant me lifetime access to this community I had briefly benefited from, and the opportunity to create for myself some kind of new family of sorts. The catch is that, in order to pursue this dream, I would have to explain this openly to people. First, my friends and family, who knew little of the shame I felt about my own identity, and then to the admissions committees of the graduate programs I applied to. The application process would require me to collect letters of recommendation from the professors I admired so much, write a statement of purpose, which is functionally an explanation of my educational background and a pitch for my future research, and submit a writing sample. For years, I was completely overwhelmed by this prospect, so I filled my time and paid my bills working nonprofit jobs that made me miserable. It felt easier. I could work towards a worthy cause without revealing my personally driven aspirations. I waited 4 years to apply to grad school, trying to figure out how I could get 3 letters of recommendation for my application without actually telling anyone that I was applying to go back to school. I eventually realized I would have to embark on the application process as myself, with my same limitations and fears, as unready as I felt. I was scared that I would ruin the attachments I might have imagined in college. What if the professors I had grown to almost worship thought I shouldn't join their ranks? Concurrently, the reality of my situation sat with me. If I couldn't send an email, if I couldn't articulate my vision for myself and my studies, if I couldn't risk being told no, I would never even have a chance. It took getting to this place of realizing that I would need to reach out with vulnerability if I wanted real connection, to break my practice of staying quiet and safe but unfulfilled. I got lucky. Though the process has rarely been easy, I've been buoyed on my journey through grad school applications and now 4 years of graduate study by connections I could have only made through being vulnerable. While my studies could have been lonely, I have built real friendships with not only my professors, but also other students, often through talking about the things I felt the most shame about. When I've shared my insecurities, my friends have met me with their own. I've had conversations with meaning I could not have imagined as a young college student. I've talked with friends about their own interracial relationships and how it will impact their future parenting. I've gotten to explore new parts of myself that I'm still coming to terms with through talking with friends about how learning disabilities can make the classroom an intimidating place. These conversations and the honesty of my peers inspire me to attempt to answer my new least favorite question. So, what is your dissertation about? I'm still so often tempted to hide. It's a funny impulse, given that my writing process began with a formal defense of my topic. I had to stand in front of my advisors and advocate for my project, an exploration of the lives of Black lesbian intellectuals, arguing for its value within the larger field of Black women's history. Thinking about this defense in the conversations with my advisors that preceded it brings me back to my time as an undergraduate, where I had the chance to practice opening up in the classroom before I was ready to share my voice with my friends and larger community. The fear I still have of talking about my work in progress with loved ones, about revealing what drives it, is one I think will stay with me in some form for the rest of my life. If I'm lucky, I will always be searching for answers about who I am and how I fit into the world. Now, as I write my dissertation, my best days are ones where I can take a long walk with my wife and practice stumbling through my own ideas. It is always worth not being able to explain what I'm exploring coherently the first time, if ever. Sharing first with her has helped me share with my family and friends, has helped me to speak confidently about my journey and struggles, expanding my feeling of belonging from the space of the classroom into my home and community. Thank you. Leave this call today. Let us remember, real connection, the kind that transforms and heals, begins with the courage to be vulnerable. In a world that often tells us to stay guarded, we are called to something deeper, to show up as we are, to speak our truths, to listen with compassion, to let our hearts remain open. Blessed be, and amen.